Hi there, my last video was a response to a channel called Zofkan News. He covered the story of Elon Musk suspending a minor attracted person on his platform, Twitter. Something I criticized as hypocritical, for Musk calls himself a free speech absolutist. I also called Zofkan News out on his inability to produce sound journalism. As a reaction to my content, on his comment section, Zofkan News doubled down on his defense for Musk and his biased views on maps. When I made an effort to engage with him, he blocked me for some reason, or otherwise deleted my reply, so I decided to make this video. Up next, I shall paraphrase his post one paragraph at a time and then refute it, not because I regard him as particularly evil or bigot, but because that is what misinformation and preposterous arguments simply deserve. Zofkan News starts off with the claim that being attracted to children or engaging in sexual behavior with them is morally and ethically wrong. Firstly, conflating the two seems like a straw man because I'm certainly not defending any behavior like that. But more to the point, he doesn't provide any justification for why he opines that attraction to children is unethical. I'm currently researching for a video on the morality of pedophilia, in which I'll delve into this in more depth. For now, suffice to say, if pedophilic feelings were immoral, couldn't we assert the same about playing violent video games? They're both victimless thought crimes after all, a point which I take refutes adequately also the related claim that attraction to minors is harmful, as without victim, there can't possibly be harm to speak of. Continuing his streak of misinformed positions, he also holds, once more without presenting a shred of evidence, that minor attraction is illegal. If sexual preference for children were illegal, as so many anti-pedos surmise, shouldn't it be a simple task to reference that law? It would be a win-win situation, really. Antis wouldn't have to be exasperated over our ignorance anymore, and we would learn of the great crime of pedophilia. Then he switches back to his strawman tactics, implying I'm arguing somewhere that because being attracted to minors is biological, it's okay to molest them. While I did suggest in my video that attraction to young people could be biological, the interpretation that I'm claiming so to justify inappropriate relationships is a lie. That's like implying that if I'm saying feelings of aggression might be natural, I'm justifying violence. In the second paragraph, Zofkan News asserts he doesn't need evidence for his position that mere pedophilic feelings are wrong, as he feels that is a universally accepted moral stance. Basically, he has replaced his claim that he doesn't justify with another unjustified claim. But if it were true that his position were universally accepted, no one would disagree with that, because that's what universal acceptance denotes, and yet we disagree. Therefore, by reductio ad absurdum, his moral stance can't be universally accepted. When you think he can't possibly appear any more clueless, he specifically classifies attraction to minors as harmful behavior. And speaking of harmful behavior, there's no indication that the map on Twitter advocated any of that, consequently rendering her being suspended highly contentious, if not outright biased. This talk of how it's necessary for social media platforms to enforce guidelines to ensure a safe environment is all fine, but it's got nothing to do with this case, in which a person was unnecessarily censored over her peaceful political views in defense of a dehumanized minority. By the way, kids too benefit from the destigmatization of maps, since that facilitates their help-seeking and is conducive to better mental well-being, which all translates to reduced risk. Compare that to the idiotic insistence by antis to rather exacerbate their psychological problems by vouching for judgmental society only for its own sake. In the fourth paragraph, Zofkan News puts forth a suggestion about the inherently criminal nature of pedophilia, not realizing that nothing, not even real crime, which being attracted to kids is not, can have an inherently criminal nature. The reason for this is that criminality is solely culturally contingent. Oddly enough, he then seems to contradict himself by identifying pedophilia as a psychological disorder, unless in his mind he incomprehensibly confuses crime and psychological disorders as well. He then disapproves of condoning and normalizing pedophilia, seeing their potential to contribute to the exploitation of children, but fails to specify through what mechanism. In my videos, I've addressed multiple arguments for why and how condoning MAPS supposedly leads to harm against children and found them irrational. But Zofkan News employs none of them, let alone has something original thought of, probably because he still maintains he doesn't have to justify anything, feeling everyone should just take his word for it. By the way, we're close to the end. Thanks for sticking around for this long, even though all I do is review a comment. I appreciate it. Next, he makes some more excuses for Elon Musk, insinuating I didn't evaluate independently enough the different controversies he was part of. While my contribution wasn't deep dive into any of them, to be sure, in combination, I think they strongly indicate Musk is a censoring hypocrite and a bigot against MAPS. Besides, I'm pretty sure I gave enough context. I mean, Musk falsely labeled a person a pedophile, which is something innocent people have been murdered for. I sincerely think that should be the problem, not people who call him out on it. In the last paragraph, Zofkan News talks about how it's vital to engage in discussions with sincerity and respect. The same guy who just branded an entire sexual minority as criminals and blocked me for disagreeing with him, I suppose. That being said, while we definitely should try to discuss respectfully and focus on the welfare of children, when antis can't even figure out that being a pedophile is not a crime, the first step is to get these basic facts right. However, if you do choose that path of facts over reactionary bigotry, there's a chance you'll eventually realize that to contribute to children's welfare doesn't come through vilifying MAPS, but by helping and supporting them. That's all I have. Thanks for listening.